Well, in my layman's mind, I was a little surprised when uh, the special prosecutor declared your client wanted, even after you had indicated that you had sent a letter to which they, the office, had acknowledged receipt. How did that grab you yesterday?
Well, I don't know what the intentions of the OSP are and what he clearly understands himself to be doing. But let me put it on record that I'm sorry to say this, but the OSP peddled a blatant falsehood yesterday. And as a public officer, I would expect that you will be contrite and you will be truthful in everything that he does, insofar as he holds a public office. He boldly stated yesterday in his presser that he had dispatched a response to our letter of the 28th day, and that response had been dispatched on the 30th of May. It's interesting to let all Ghanaians know that the letter that he said was dispatched on the 30th only reached the offices of Menka Premu and Co. yesterday during his presser, and even wrongly dated. Such a person considers himself trustworthy, and he piles all kinds of names, innuendos, and aspersions on other people. But we should all know that public office, or whatever office we hold, is transient. And we ought to give due recognition and respect to the fundamental human rights of persons, much more so when it's related to health issues. I believe the office of the special prosecutor is a budding young man. And if you learn from the incidents of history, he says he has redeclared Ken Oforiatta a wanted person, fugitive from justice. He's put him on a red alert notice, and he's going to commence extradition proceedings to ensure his forced return into the country. We pleasantly await the return of Kenneth Oforiatta through any of those means. But if he sees with a medical report which he was denying, and he can boldly come out and proclaim the medical condition of Kenneth Oforiatta, something he says he doesn't believe, yet goes on to say what he says is plaguing Oforiatta, and he still insists that he will force his return to Accra. We wish him well, and we look forward to his doing just exactly that. But this matter is not ended yet. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Davis, from the little I know about extraditions and the role of Interpol, it's typically not a matter of law, but of cooperation. Does this red notice that the special prosecutor claimed that he's triggered hold anything?
You see, I posed the question yesterday, and I'm still posing that question. But I want to believe that the OSP clearly understands what he's doing. This is his pandering to the gallery and his quite opaque style. I want to caution him that you see by the combined effect of the Electronic Transactions Act, he should painfully read that, and the Mutual Legal Assistance Act. He cannot shun the option of a video conference or video recorded interview and insist, by his say so, that he will request by all means a personal attendance of Kenoforiata. But once upon a time, we were in this country when this same OSP investigated a similar matter, did a video recording. He should search through his mind, search clearly through his mind and carefully. But I still admonish. I'll tell him that what is good for the goose is equally good for the gander. His style of selective interpretation of everything that he does, the arrogance with which he speaks, and the careless pomposity would come to an end soon. This matter is not ended yet. Thank you.
Mr. Davis, we're grateful for your time on the show. Have a good day, sir. And that was Mr. Frank Davis. He is one of the lawyers for Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta. And I think that, for me, it's a matter of principles, processes, precedents, the law, essentially. A number of questions that he asked are quite interesting and gives a whole new perspective to what we witnessed yesterday. Fritz.
I'm just listening to him. I get the sense that they've tried to impress upon the special prosecutor to sort of put a human face to this whole thing, because it is clear, and from the records we have received from the UK hospital where the former finance minister is at, the US hospital, I beg your pardon, where the former finance minister is at the moment, he's not feeling well. And from what we have heard and from sources close to us, indeed tells us that they have tried their utmost to speak to the office of the special prosecutor, going into in essence details about the health status of the former finance minister. But the special prosecutor, in his own fashion, as predictable, would always want to go on that tangent he wants to go. It looks like he can't be bothered about what happens to the former finance minister. And again, from what, like I was trying to say, that he said he wanted full disclosure of the medical details of the finance minister, and until those details are provided in clear terms, and if I can use this word, in 4K, that is given all the full complements of the medical reports, he's not going to relent. So we see these two individuals in each other's throats, and it looks like the slaughter is playing out in the public. And
who's putting this? Who's making this play out in the public?
Yeah, the slaughter is playing out in the public.
Who's making this play out in the public? Because Mr. Davis says they wrote a letter to the OSP's office. The OSP, in his press statement yesterday, admitted that they had received a letter on the 28th. Granted. So there is some communication. Okay. Then he goes on to say that he had caused for a letter to be dispatched on the 30th of May, 2 days after. However, Mr. Davis is saying that during the presser of yesterday is when the letter arrived in their office. And I actually did say that the special prosecutor stood before the Ghanaian public and told a falsehood.
Well, we haven't heard from the special prosecutor on the claims Frank Davis is making about the dispatchment or the delivery of that letter. So for now, really and truly we have to probe, maybe ask further questions of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. When did you deliver the response when they wrote to you? Because we understand Frank Davis wrote to the Special Prosecutor on the 28th of May, as we were noted yesterday, of the medical procedure that the former finance minister would have to go through. Now he's saying that the Office of the Special Prosecutor said he responded to that letter, which was delivered on the 30th. But Frank Davis tells us that no, it wasn't delivered on the 30th.
So but that it came to him yesterday.
Yesterday. So we
now,
have to
on the balance on the balance of probabilities, Nanaya, Mr. Davis says we sent a letter on the 28th. We dispatched it. It was recorded. When a dispatch delivers an official letter such as that, they come with a book. An officer at the receiving end will sign for it, date it, and timestamp it, right? So he's made one claim that has been corroborated by the special prosecutor yesterday. I'm wondering what would make Mr. Davis make another claim this morning that the response from the special prosecutor's office arrived yesterday. Do you find my thinking a little warped? Because I do that once in a while.
No, it's just a rather curious thing, a bit like two people having a conversation about somebody you've never met in your life and you've never heard of before, and who, you know, is probably Serbo-Croat in origin. It's deeply obscure, if not obscurantist. And as lawyer Frank Davis pointed out yesterday, you could hear the sheer frustration and weariness in the man's voice as he was talking to us, because a bit like the description on the earlier news of what Aiko Utu, well, in fact, in the gel report, as described by Wilberforce, the committee hearing on the Chief Justice's case again. This is what I find fascinating: the unintentional echoes between various cases that are out there in the public domain. In the same way as Aiko Utu was frustrated to the point of, you know, beginning to shout and ask, "What at all do you want from the woman?" Mini noifi. And so on. I mean, Frank Davis was reported yesterday to set out the steps. He says, we sent a report from the doctors to him. You can read the story on asaaseradio.com. And the doctor's report suggested he was unavailable for interview. If it was not sent to him, this is, of course, the special prosecutor, would he have commented on it and said it is pointless? Does it lie in his domain to make this comment? And then again, if he goes on to say that Oforiatta has been diagnosed with cancer, does he appreciate what that means? And when did he transmogrify to become a doctor? So, I mean, you can sense the frustration, but at the moment, people, or at least I think representatives for Ken Oforiatta, are trying to stick to procedure and stick to formula. Whether sticking to procedure will get them very far, if the mindset is prosecute and prosecute at all costs, it remains to be seen.
Well, prosecutions of any kind in a democracy will be done by procedure. We wait to see. It's 8 o'clock, and that means we can take you into the world of business. Clank Champon is here to bring you Asaase Business AM. Stay with us.
Asaase Business. Asaase Business.
Asaase Business.
Asaase Business AM.
Hello, good morning and welcome to Asaase Business AM. I'm Clanksine Champon. On to our first story. President John Mahama has announced a government policy that only permits the importation of excavators under a strict regime. The essence is to deal with the influx of excavators imported into the country that have contributed to illegal mining. The president was speaking at the Mining in Motion Summit in Accra yesterday.
Working together with the small-scale mining sector, we will reclaim our forest reserves and restore the purity of our water bodies. Our river guards are working on clearing mining activities in our water bodies and on the banks of our rivers. We've successfully, as the minister told you, we have successfully cleared illegal miners out of 8 out of the 9 no-go zone forest reserves. We will track excavators, as the minister said, in order to know whether they are being used for illegal mining or not. And we intend to change the permitting regime. Ghana has more excavators in this country than in the whole of Africa. We're going to change the permitting regime. You will not be allowed to import an excavator or put it on a ship unless you get a permit before you can ship an excavator.
That was President John Mahama. Now, importers have been cautioned to adhere strictly to customs procedures after national security operatives impounded 3 articulated trucks loaded with thousands of gallons of cooking oil in Kumasi. The trucks, which bore Nigerian, Ghanaian and Burkinabe registration numbers, were intercepted for tax evasion and diversion of goods from their declared destination. The operation followed a tip-off and days of surveillance by the Special Monitoring and Intelligence Team at the National Security. According to the team's head, Hajia Rashida Mahama, the trucks were monitored from Accra to Kumasi over 4 days. Out of 6,688 gallons of cooking oil, duties had only been paid on 4,320 gallons, leaving 2,368 gallons unaccounted for.
When the call came suspecting these particular trucks, I had to put boys to monitor it from Tema to motorway, and then it was back to custom bonded house, and now in Kumasi. And I want to make sure I do a good job for Mother Ghana, and also I want to send a signal to the businessmen and women. I've not been given the position to bully people, but if you fall as a victim, I will carry you away. Please, let's come together and work for Mother Ghana. Per the document they have, it was 4,320 for the 3 trucks. But when we got here, to do with the re-examination with the custom officers, we had 6,688, an excess of 2,368. That is the difference of the excess. It's 1,326.80. It's a lot, especially the transits that normally claims they go to Burkina Faso. They end up offloading the goods in Greater Accra or Asante region, and most of them comes to Asante region. So this time I'm going to be on them. The transit trucks, they should get ready for me. Anytime I see a truck packed more than 2 days, I'll go after that truck.
Hajia Rashida Mahama is the head of the National Security Operative Team in Kumasi. Now, the Ghana Statistical Service has taken a major step towards gathering vital economic data with the completion of its national training program for Phase 2 of the Integrated Business Establishment Survey. Elizabeth Yaboa has more.
The Ghana Statistical Service has wrapped up a nationwide training of trainers program for the second phase of the Integrated Business Establishment Survey, or IBIS-2. The training held in Winneba brought together 240 national and regional trainers who will now prepare nearly 4,000 field officers for the next round of data collection. IBIS-2 aims to collect detailed information from more than 40,000 businesses across all 16 regions, data that will be used to rebase key economic indicators like Ghana's gross domestic product, producer price index, and index of industrial production. Government statistician Dr. Alhassan Idrisu says the data will help shape policy, guide investment decisions, and support national development. The main fieldwork is set to begin in July. The Statistical Service is urging all selected businesses to cooperate with survey teams contacted.
That was a Business Desk report. Now, the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority and the Ghana Airports Company Limited have announced an extension of operational hours at the Prempeh the First International Airport in Kumasi and the Tamale International Airport effective 1st June 2025. The new operational hours are aimed at improving accessibility and convenience for travelers using both airports. According to the announcement, the Prempeh the First International Airport will now operate until 11 p.m., extending from from the current 8 p.m. closing time. Similarly, the Tamale International Airport will operate until 10 p.m. A statement issued by the two institutions said, quote, a notice to airmen has been issued by the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority to all airlines. The Ghana Civil Aviation Authority has also advised domestic airlines to adjust their schedules accordingly. The Western Regional Manager of the National Insurance Commission says premium undercutting has reduced drastically. Nada Sean attributes the reduction to the introduction of the motor insurance data and routine inspection. She says that in February this year, private vehicle motor insurance premium, for instance, was standardized. The 530 cedis amount is what has to be charged across board. She has been speaking to our Western Regional correspondent, Isaac Hughes.
MID has also helped in this undercutting issue because now we've standardized the premiums.
Okay.
Yes. So currently it's 530 for private vehicle. So let's say my car is, for me, it's a private individual. It's 530 Ghana cedis. If I go to company A, I'm supposed to pay 530 Ghana cedis. If I go to company B, it's the same 530 Ghana cedis. Company C, the same thing. So the undercutting has been reduced.
Okay.
Yes, to a very low, minimal point. So now it's standardized. So
are you sure?
Yes. Oh, well, you know, we always have recalcitrant people who would do anything just to, undercut, but it's not so high. Now that we've been able to do the MID, we do our checks, we go out there and all that, it's reduced drastically. Honestly, it's reduced. So those who really want to undercut, we also do inspections.
So I was going to ask, when was the last time you visited insurance companies to check if they are compliant?
Okay, so just last week.
That was the acting Western Regional Manager of the National Insurance Commission, Nada Sean, interacting with our Western Regional correspondent, Isaac Hughes. Now let's do some business news elsewhere, because the Nigerian capital market has witnessed a transformation under President Bola Tinubu's administration, with analysts citing growth in both the primary and secondary segments of the market. Key policy reforms, including foreign exchange deregulation, removal of fuel subsidies, and the recent banking sector recapitalization, have been credited with fueling this momentum. Between May 2023 and April 2025, foreign portfolio participation in the Nigerian equity market increased significantly. Foreign investors accounted for 9.93% of total equity trading value in 2023, rising to 32.32% by April 2025. This increase reflects renewed foreign interest driven by the easing of foreign exchange restrictions and improved macroeconomic conditions. On the currency board this morning, the dollar is selling at 10 cedis 25 pesos. The British pound is also going for 13 cedis 89 pesos. The euro is pegged at 11 cedis 72 pesos. The South African rand is selling at 57 pesos, and the Chinese yuan is being sold at 1 cedi 42 pesos. Please note, these rates could be slightly different at the various forex bureau and banks. And that's how we wrap up this morning's Asaase Business AM. But before I let you go, I have an interesting news for you from Anointed Engineering Services Limited. It's into sales of ultra silent fuel efficient diesel generating sets ranging from 5 kilovolts ampere to 3000 kilovolts amperes at competitive prices. For every generator you acquire, you will enjoy 5 years warranty. They also undertake maintenance and repairs of all kinds of diesel generating sets. Their services include, but not limited to, the following: 24-hour emergency services, sale of genuine spare parts, reliable rental services, professional advice, sales of tower lights and rental. You can locate Anointed Engineering Services Generator at their head office at number 77 Anointed House on the main Odoko Malam Highway near the Odoko traffic lights. They also have 24 branches nationwide. They are also into skill training training. They have a training school that trains students on generators and plants, auto mechanics, electricals and controls, as well as solar installations. They offer 80% hands-on training and 20% theory. You can contact Anointed Engineering Services Generator on their hotlines on 0243 480 334 or on 0540 100-868. Anointed, the generator experts.
Asaase Business.